The sub bass is the foundation of your song, and in electronic music, it can make or break your track. With this element being such an essential part of your track, you need to make sure that it is providing enough low-end power and weight for your song to sit on top of. But how do we create a powerful sub bass? Don't I just use a sine wave? Do I need any special processing on this sub to make it stand out in the mix? My name is Daniel with Envato Tuts. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a fat and powerful sub bass. So let's get into the DAW. When creating a sub bass, the most important part to consider is the type of waveform that you use. The most common type of waveform used for sub basses is a sine wave. While this is a great choice for making a powerful sub, there is another waveform that we can use to create an even more powerful sub bass, and that is the square wave. So to create this sub bass, we're going to go ahead and load up Ableton's operator. But really, any synthesizer will work here. Any synthesizer that can emit a square wave. A sine wave is most commonly used for sub basses as it emits a pure tone. If we look on this frequency spectrum analyzer and we play a sub note, we can see that there are no other harmonics and there is just a very strong frequency in this area, the sub region. If we choose a square wave, we're going to choose the square 16. We can see that there are many harmonics here. These added harmonics will add extra weight, power, and interest to our sub bass, which the sine wave does not produce, which is the reason why square waves are such an excellent wave to use for creating a sub bass. So let's go ahead and draw in a sub note here. We'll go ahead and use the F sharp note, move it down an octave, and then let's play the note. As you can hear, it provides that sub low end power as well as give extra harmonics. When using a sine wave for your sub, you can simply load up a sine wave in your oscillator and you're ready to go. But with a square wave, we'll need to do further processing. If you listen to the note, there are too many mid-range frequencies in the square wave, which could be a problem when mixed with other instruments in your track. So we'll want to apply an EQ here and cut away a lot of the mid and mid-low frequencies. We'll go ahead and apply an EQ and put on a high cut filter and adjust the frequency range to around 188 Hz or 177 Hz. Let's have a listen. As you can hear, a lot of the mid-range frequencies are taking out. It doesn't sound quite as nasally, and this will mix much better in with your track. So high cut filtering will be needed if you're using a square wave for a sub bass. And to make this sub bass even more powerful, we're going to add a touch of saturation. We're going to load up Ableton's saturator, but any saturation plugin will do. The goal here is just to warm up the sound a little bit and add even more harmonics. So we're going to use the soft sine setting on the Ableton saturator. We'll turn up the drive to around 1.94 decibels and reduce the dry wet to around 31%. And now let's have a listen to the sub bass. As you can hear, it has a nice solid low end. And now let's compare the two sub basses, the sine wave sub bass and the square wave sub bass. First, the sine wave sub bass, and now the square wave. As you can hear, the square wave is filled with more harmonics, gives interest to the sub bass, and gives the overall perception of more power and weight. So the next time you're looking to create a fat sub, use a square wave with a high cut filter and a saturator to create this power for your sub bass.